guys, and welcome to my draw of my life. That's right, I'm going to draw out my life for you so you can get a better understanding of who I am and where I've come from. Now, I have to admit, I'm not the best drawer, so this video has more words than it does pictures, but you get the point. First off, I was born on February 7th of 1992, and I was born in San Antonio, Texas, although I live in North Carolina. A cool fact about me, and also something that a lot of people find really interesting, is that I am actually adopted. Now, adoption is a kind of touchy subject for some, but my adoption is actually an open adoption. And an open adoption is where the child is in contact with the birth parents. So I actually know my birth mom, and I talk to her all the time. She lived in San Antonio, where I was born, but a couple of years ago she actually got a job in North Carolina and moved here, which is awesome, so she can see Kinley and watch her grow up. So it has been amazing having her here, and everyone loves it. When I was 2 weeks old, I actually moved from San Antonio to North Carolina. I was born in San Antonio because that's where my birth mom lived, but my adoptive parents actually lived in North Carolina. They just traveled to San Antonio when I was born to come and get me. So North Carolina is home sweet home. So I have two brothers named Nick and Zach, so it was the five of us, and it was really awesome. We have an amazing family. Everyone is so close. My brothers actually are adopted as well, which I'm sure everyone is wondering that. So they are actually adopted also, not from the same birth family, but from other ones. We were all born in different cities of Texas, though. So for school, I went to preschool, but for kindergarten through 4th grade, I went to the local public elementary school that my house was districted to. For 5th through 9th, though, I went to Montessori school, which is private. And then for 10th through 12th grade, for high school, I went back to public school because Montessori actually ends at 9th grade. So from my school experience, I absolutely loved Montessori, and I definitely hated public school. Although I had plenty of friends, I just preferred Montessori over public school. Overall, my childhood was completely awesome. We were really close. My mom stayed home with us for the most part, so we did lots of fun stuff together. We went to Disney World. We always went to the beach very frequently. We did lots of fun stuff. It was just an overall awesome time. So when I got to high school, which was, for me, considered 10th through 12th grade because I went to private before that. Senior year, I met a boy. His name was Logan. And before this, I had had boyfriends on and off. A couple being pretty serious, but nothing really too serious. So I I wouldn't really call it love at first sight, but we were definitely pretty smitten, I'd say. And we met in art class. So in June of 2011, I graduated from high school, which was an amazing thing because I definitely did not enjoy my high school experience, quote unquote, which would have been 10th through 12th at the public high school. The only good thing that I actually came out of it was probably meeting Logan. So I graduated in June 2011, and then that summer was awesome. That summer was so much fun. Logan and I hung out all the time, and I worked as well, so, there was work in there too. And then I went to the beach. We just had a really fun time. And then in August of 2011, I started college at the local community college. And then everything changed because in September of 2011, I found out that I am pregnant. So many thoughts ran through our head when we found out. I was totally not expecting this. I had no clue. When I went to take that test, I had absolutely no clue that it was going to come out positive. So we found out only a couple weeks later that it was twins. I freaked out. Logan did too, but I really freaked out. We had absolutely no idea what we were going to do. After much thought, though, and considering where I've come from with adoption and it being such a huge part of my family and our life, we decided that the best decision for both of us and the girls were adoption. So we basically made a big checklist of what we wanted and what we didn't want within adoption. So the big things were that it had to be an open adoption because I couldn't not know about my girls. And we also wanted to use the same agency that I was adopted through in Texas. So because we wanted to use the same agency, and I was a birth mom, not an adoptive parent, obviously, we actually had to be living in Austin, Texas to use the adoption agency. And we just figured it would be best anyways to be there as soon as possible so we could pick an adoptive family and get to know them. So in January 2012, we moved 1,300 miles away to Austin, Texas. So immediately after we got there, we talked to the agency, got to know them, and we immediately started looking at adoptive parents, and they each gave us these little books that they put together to try and get to know them, figure out who they are, what they like, what they don't like, where they've come from. And then we narrowed it down to 3 couples. We went and had breakfast, lunch, dinner. We met these couples and went from there to try and pick the family. Lots of thinking went on, lots of, discussions, but we finally ended up picking the perfect family for our girls. We absolutely loved them and everything about them, and it was just a know-it decision. We knew that they were the ones. So we got to know them really well over those couple of months, and then on March 28th of 2012, Kate and Grace were born. They came a little bit early at exactly 33 weeks due to me having preeclampsia. So they did have to go to the NICU, but other than that, they were perfectly healthy and so completely adorable. The second I laid eyes on them, I fell in love. I knew it was going to be the hardest decision of my life to sign those papers, but it was also going to be the best decision for them. So after they were born, they spent 1 month in the NICU, which is actually less than we were told they were going to have to spend. And they actually didn't need much. They just needed to grow, basically. So Logan and I actually stayed in Texas for 2 months after that they were born. So while they were in the NICU, we got to go and see them every day. And then after they went home, we went to see them with their new adoptive parents. We saw them probably about every other day to every 2 days, which was an amazing experience to just get to see them in their new home with their new parents. But then we sadly had to go home, which I knew that it was going to be really hard, but it did bring comfort that they were with 2 amazing and loving parents, and that we were going to be able to have contact with them and get pictures all the time. So in May of 2012, we drove 1,300 miles from Austin, Texas, back home to Raleigh, North Carolina. It was definitely a journey, as was the way there. We definitely had some bumps in the road, but we got through it and we got home, and I was so happy to be home, back to my house, back to my comfort zone. But it was really, really hard at the same time because I was in North Carolina, but my girls were in Texas. So at first it was really hard. There was lots of tears, there was lots of regret, but we got through it. So that summer was pretty fun. I worked, we just kind of, went back to life before. And then in August of 2012, I started college again because I hadn't been going while I was in Texas and having the girls. So I started back at college at the local community college, and I also started a full-time nanny job, which I had been nannying before, but this was full-time, really consistent. And I also forgot to mention that I was going to school online so I could work, which was awesome. And then also the big thing was, and a huge change for all of us, was that Logan and I got our first apartment together. We lived together in Texas when we had the girls, but it was really small. It was an extended stay. It wasn't an apartment. So life was really good. Life was going really great. I mean, I couldn't have really had it go any better. I mean, obviously having my girls with me would have been nice, but life was good for all of us. And then everything changed again. So in May of 2014, I found out that I was pregnant. This time it was a little bit different, the reaction. I mean, I was still totally in shock. Logan totally did not believe me because I took the test first and then showed him. And he did not believe me. He made me take 5 tests. We went to about 3 different stores to get all different brands because he wanted to make absolutely sure that I was really pregnant. So our first question was, is it twins again? We didn't know. The girls are considered to be identical, and apparently if you have a set of identical twins, your next baby has a 50% chance of being twins again. But we got an ultrasound done right away to figure this out, to help us make a decision, and we found out that it was luckily only 1 baby. So after much thought and much talk, we decided that this time we are going to keep our baby. A lot has changed in the past 2 years since we had Kate and Grace, and we just figured that we can do this, that we can raise this baby, and we are ready. Obviously this wasn't planned, so we could be more ready down the road, but we wanted to keep our baby. So on December 26th of 2014, our daughter, Kinley Ann Smith, was born. She was born at 35 weeks. She wasn't due until January 27th of 2015, but she was completely healthy. She did not have to go to the NICU or anything at all. She was completely healthy. She was little. She was only 4 pounds, 14 ounces, but she was completely and utterly perfect. We had to adjust to a family of 3 now, to adjust to taking care of this little baby girl, this precious little baby girl that relied on us for everything. We were so and completely in love with her. At first, it was really hard for me to believe that she was actually mine, that I actually got to take her home and keep her. I got to dress her, I got to change her diaper, I got to care for her, I got to wake up in the middle of the night with her. That might be hard to believe, to look forward to, but after having to give up 2 babies, you look forward to it. It was amazing. So everything was going good. Kinley was growing up. She was really little still, but she was growing. But when she was 2 months old, things kind of got bad. Things weren't going great between her dad and I. So when she was a little over 2 months old, Logan and I broke up. It just wasn't working out. We just weren't getting along at all, and it just was putting so much stress on me to try and take care of this baby while trying to fix our relationship. But things got better after we broke up. Things actually got a lot better. We are friends. I consider us to be good friends. We get along so well. We started to get along so much better after breaking up. So much stress was just taken off of my shoulders, because I wasn't holding him to some high, crazy expectations, because I didn't see him every single day or every single second. He wasn't right there. So it was good. It was good for both Kinley and I and him. We got along great. He helped out as much as he could. He sees her. It was just perfect. So Kinley started to grow and grow and grow. And she grew up from this tiny, tiny little 4-pound baby to now this rambunctious, crazy, basically toddler. She's kind of still a baby to me because she's not walking yet, so she's a little bit, seems a little bit younger. But she is the most adorable toddler ever. Obviously, I think that I'm biased. I'm her mom. But she is so smart. She's sassy. She's funny. She's super cautious. She's a very cautious baby. She doesn't do something until she knows she can do it. And she's, of course, very adorable. And one of my favorite things about her is that she's so cuddly. She's very, very cuddly. So that's basically about me and where I've come from in my life. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. See you guys next video. Bye.
2, 3. We might get